How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Freddy's Nightmares. This is Season 1, Episode 2, and this one's entitled It's a Miserable Life. It originally aired October 18th, 1988, and was directed by Tom McLoughlin. The episode stars James Cameron Mitchell, Lar Park Lincoln, and of course, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, our host for the series. Now, in those credits, you may have noticed something. The director of this episode actually directed Friday the 13th Part 6, and Lar Park Lincoln was Tina, the final girl from Part 7. So cool to see some Friday people hop over into Freddy's Nightmares. I also want to say that this is the first episode after the pilot, and now we're starting to establish what this series is going to be like. Freddy Krueger is just the host this time around, and I'm curious if people in the 80s knew that was going to happen, because yeah, he's not in here too terribly much. He shows up and has some fun gags and jokes, and I really liked where he came out of the deep fryer in this episode. But that being said, I wish it was more than just a few jokes here and there. I really wish he got to be more of a host and introduce the stories better, but whatever, it is what it is. And also in this episode, we established the sort of split nature of the series. Basically, Freddy's Nightmares is an hour-long time block, but in that hour, we're going to get two different stories. And normally, I'm not a huge fan of doing this. I'm like, hey, just split them into two different episodes, why not? But with Freddy's Nightmares, there's a bit of a reason for this, as the first story and the second story are going to have some sort of crossover, like a character in one is going to be the focus of the other. I like tying them together if they're going to be in the same time block. But the episode itself, what's it about? Well, even though this episode's called It's a Miserable Life, it's actually not a Christmas episode, which is a little bit weird. But in this one, we get two teenagers that have a near-death experience with a drive-by shooting, and then their life becomes like two separate surreal nightmares. One is about a kid wanting to leave his father's business, the town's local burger joint, and the other is about his girlfriend waking up in the hospital, and we get a surreal hospital nightmare. And overall, this episode's okay. I think the second story plays out way better. It's significantly more focused, and the hospital theming makes way more sense. Sadly, the burger side of this story is so random and all over the place. It didn't really seem to have a clear idea where it was going, and just seemed to throw whatever at the screen. So overall, I think between the two, it averages out to be an okay episode. But yeah, even though these are both very similar ideas, the second one was just put together so much better. I really did like the second half. The first half just fumbled it a bit, but you know what? Fun, surrealist nightmares, wacky, all over the place character studies. The first one's okay, but it's the second one that really does shine, and Lar Park Lincoln knocks it out of the park there, so I can definitely recommend it at least for the second. But in order to analyze this episode further, let's take a bit of a deeper dive into each story. No major spoilers, but I want to dig in a little deeper from here on out. In the first half, we're introduced to the setup of this story. It's this guy working late at a burger joint, and surprisingly, it's not about the burger joint being really creepy at night. It's 24 hours for some reason, even though they seem to have next to no customers and the guy's bored out of his mind. He invites his girlfriend over, and right as she gets there, there's a mysterious biker guy that drives by and shoots up the place. A bullet seems to be heading right for this guy's head when he suddenly wakes up and realizes, oh hey, I'm fine, I guess that was all a dream or something. He bails from the burger stand, and the next day or two starts to get pretty surreal. He starts to realize he's bleeding from his head even though there's no obvious wound, and things start to get a little bit trippy. His room is packed up and then it's not. His parents are doing a bunch of weird stuff like singing the jingle to their burger restaurant, and then like his mom starts kissing him for way too long. Yeah, that got a little bit awkward. But the thing that gets me is when you find out the emotional struggle that this guy's going to be going up against, it really doesn't make much sense. You see, this kid that works at the burger joint is actually the son of the owner, and the dad does not want him going off to college and instead insist that he stay and man the burger joint instead, so he's on a strained relationship with his father, and the dad acts like if this kid leaves, it will cost him the business as a whole for some reason. Yeah, there's a lot here that just doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you wanted your kid to stick around, give him a manager position. Don't stick him on night shifts he hates. You're practically chasing him away. And two, what do you mean the burger joint's going to just shut down if this kid leaves? Don't you have other employees? And once he takes it over, it's not going to be yours anyway. You're not going to be making any money off of it if you give it to him. So yeah, this burger joint should be able to sustain itself without him. And yeah, if you wanted him to stick around, don't just shove him on the midnight shifts. Overall, it's not a very compelling story, and it's a pretty weak point to jump off for the emotional plot of this episode. And then on top of that, the drive-by shooter is just super random as well, so the plot doesn't have really great structure. Add that to them not really knowing what to do with the surrealism, so in turn just random stuff happens. And of course, the ending of this episode is going to be pretty predictable. Overall, side A here was just a mess, but luckily things turn it around in side B. In Lar Park Lincoln's half of the story, she gets shot but goes to the hospital and they have to undergo major surgery, and they do so many cool gags with the surgery. Hospitals are already unnerving places, and the idea that you're going to go under and people are going to be operating on you, it's a scary thought, but they do so many over-the-top gags. Like right as she goes under, the surgeon starts talking about how they're gonna have to cut off her arms and legs. Then she starts waking up periodically throughout the surgery, and she'll see weird things like two of the surgeons making out, or the doctor having the nurse come in and say, "Oh, go ahead, you try to do the surgery, it'll be fun. Just grab this needle and try sewing into her." And then when she wakes up and she's out of the surgery world, it's still really big and over the top. The doctor's a big personality, the nurse is really sassy, they're pulling out big needles with green liquid and forcing pills down her throat. And then there's this constant mystery there of her looking for her boyfriend and her getting strangely confused whenever people reference her parents. Overall, why this is still kind of predictable, and it's not grade A gold star stuff or anything, it's so much funner, so much more put together, and so much more focused than side A, and absolutely blows the first half of this episode out of the water. Hospitals are naturally scary. Turns out naturally a lot more scary than a burger joint. But overall, if you guys like the idea of a surrealist, what's actually real, what's actually going on with a bit of a character study, overall this is a fun enough episode. But if the first half's not grabbing you, I definitely say stick it out to that second half. That's where it gets really good. So yeah, a recommendation from me, but again, more for story B. Anyway though, all that being said, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you guys want to see me talk about more things kind of like this, feel free to click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very soon. Playlist here. Have a good day now.